Hello, I'm Ayşe Süberker and welcome to the special edition of Strait Talk from Ankara. For the past 3 days, the Turkish capital hosted Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharrif. Since taking the post back in April, after then Prime Minister Imran Khan was ousted in a no-confidence vote, Mr. Sharrif has been shoring up relations with Pakistan's closest allies. His latest stop, Türkiye. He met with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday, covering everything from trade and defense ties to addressing regional security threats. Shariff said that Pakistan stands with Türkiye in its fight against terrorism, adding, "Enemies of Türkiye are enemies of Pakistan." Despite the abrupt change in Pakistan's leadership, relations between Ankara and Islamabad have remained strong. Just last month, the two countries celebrated the launch of a new warship built by a Turkish company and commissioned for the Pakistani Navy. Prime Minister Sharrif also made a key announcement in late May that he wanted Türkiye to join a multi-billion-dollar transport project being financed by China that will make Pakistan a vital transport and energy link. I sat down with the Prime Minister to discuss that proposal along with the current economic and political challenges his country is facing. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome and thanks for joining us here. You are here on a 3-day visit where you have met President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and several other ministers. How did your meetings go? What did you cover the most?
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful trip which will end today, and I think we are going to end it on a very positive note. Our meetings with President Tayyip Erdogan have been extremely cordial and like one family, very useful for promoting bilateral relations, our fraternal relations, which go back centuries. And this time we found increased warmth and sense of unity and sense of understanding between the two leadership. I think it has been a phenomenal visit, and I would once again, through your good officers, like to thank President Tayyip Erdogan for according this extremely warm welcome.
I was going to ask about that. For decades, Turkey and Pakistan maintained good ties regardless of which party was in power in both countries. What's the driving force behind this almost unshakable bond between the two?
People-to-people bonds, which are grounded in history. In fact, when we go back pre-partition times, in undivided India, Muslims at that point in time when you were fighting the war of independence, and Turkish movement was supported by Muslims in India in a very big way, and at that point in time, our forefathers, the mothers and children, they contributed whatever they could to support this independent movement in Turkey.
Yes.
And this was a phenomenal contribution. But I always say, little did our forefathers know that this will become a permanent bond of brotherhood between the two nations for all time to come. And that is why, even when we speak, Turks always say, brother, we will not forget what you did for Turkey in those days. This is remarkable and unique and very unique relationship.
So the deep ties between Turkey and Pakistan were at display recently after the launching of the PN Milgem corvette for Pakistan's Navy. Can you talk about how defense is one of the core aspects of strong ties between Ankara and Islamabad?
This is what I think it's all about, that two nations and one soul and two hearts. That's the, I think, the most befitting explanation I can make about this relationship. So whether it's defense or it's trade or it's culture, investment, I think we speak the same language, even though we speak different languages.
So how have Turkish projects helped boost Pakistan's military, and are there any future projects, joint
Yes,
projects?
this Miljam Kuwait was launched on 20th of May, and Defense Minister of Turkey was there along with me, and it was a great sight to watch. And this is what we want, joint collaboration and joint manufacturing of not only this warship, but other areas of defense as well, whether these are tanks or missiles, etc. Won't be able to discuss more in this interview. Suffice it to say that we are working very closely with each other, because enemies of Turkey are enemies of Pakistan and vice versa.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, yesterday during your meeting with President Erdogan, you voiced support for Turkey's anti-terror operations, and Erdogan has announced a new operation, an anti-terror operation will be launched soon against the YPG in northern Syria. Can you talk about how the two countries can cooperate on the fight against terrorism?
Well, we are ourselves victims of terrorism, back in 2000 onwards, and with great sacrifices and great efforts by the people of Pakistan, by the armed forces of Pakistan, by the law enforcing agencies, by the ordinary citizen, were we able to defeat this menace. Although it's still there, but largely it has been defeated. Therefore, we not only condemn PKK and other FETÖ groups, but we fully support the efforts of Turkish leadership.
So, as you've mentioned, cooperation is not just limited to defense and trade. You previously said the ongoing China-Pakistan economic corridor project was set to translate regional connectivity and trilateral arrangements, which will include Türkiye, could prove beneficial for the region of people.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that? I mean, how could Türkiye play a role in this multi-billion-dollar project that looks to make Pakistan a crucial transport point and economic link in the region?
That is exactly what I proposed to my dear brother, President Tayyip Erdogan, yesterday, and to other Turkish leaders, that CPAC is an offshoot of Belt and Road, a vision of President Xi Jinping. And Pakistan is one of major beneficiary of this vision, and we have launched multi-billion-dollar projects in Pakistan for the welfare of the people of Pakistan. Now, to further enhance this initiative and really have great work for the public welfare and progress and prosperity of Pakistan, I have proposed that let Pakistan, China and Turkey be partners in this game of great vision to enhance.
How is China reacting to that? Are they welcoming
I don't
this?
think China will have any, this is my personal opinion, will have any reservation, because it's not only about Pakistan, it's about peace, security and progress in the region. And Turkey obviously is a player. Turkey has great expertise in hydropower generation, in renewable generation, and Turkey has very large outfits of construction companies which can play a very pivotal role, because we are at the crossroads, from Xinjiang towards Pakistan. I think Turkey can take up certain projects to road infrastructure. Turkey has great expertise. Like hydropower generation, Turkey has great expertise. So if we put together expertise, energies and financial resources of these three countries, this will be a great win-win story in times to come.
So I assume you want the trade volume between the two countries to reach $5 billion within.
We signed protocol yesterday.
Yes, but you want to achieve that goal in 3 years, I think. Is this doable?
No, yesterday.
Okay, no, I mean, in 3 years,
that's right.
you're targeting the trade
Exactly.
volume between the two countries will reach $5 billion.
That's
How is
right.
that going to play out? What
I think
kind of industries you're targeting
This
at?
is a very, I don't call it an ambitious target, because our ambitions between the two nations are well known, that we want to really become closest to each other. We are, as brothers, But we need to convert and transform these relations into trade, investment, promotion of commerce, e-commerce, agriculture, textile, etc., so that the people on both sides really benefit from these fraternal relations. I don't think we are doing justice to our centuries-old relations in terms of what we are doing in the field of trade and investment. It is, I think, not a very good reflection, and we need to really correct that. And President Tayyip Erdogan is very keen. I'm very grateful to him that yesterday, when I raised this point, within hours, a protocol was signed, and I think this is a reflection of his commitment and his pledge that both countries will really move forward, cut red tape, cut barriers, hurdles, and move forward with lightning speed. And that's what I want, and I will do my best to ensure that we achieve this, even though it is an ambitious target, but ambitions are valid.
Did the Turkish president give you an exact time for Turkey's inclusion in this energy corridor, though?
I think sky's the limit, because we are, at the moment, like other countries, developing countries in the world, are having difficulties to contain inflation, galloping inflation, foreign exchange, reserves. So we need cheaper sources of energy. We are spending around $20 billion annually to finance the import of expensive petroleum, gas, etc. We want to ultimately replace this. This can only happen through increased hydropower generation and renewable energy, which is effective, cost-effective, and doable, easily doable, and it will save time. So we are moving in that direction, and Turkey can be a very, very active partner in this game.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, for the last few years, Pakistan was often caught in the middle between Turkey and the Gulf states and having to maintain a balance. But now Turkey and several Gulf states are looking to repair their ties. How will that benefit Pakistan and the region as well?
So the entire political landscape has changed, and for the good. And I'm very happy. Yesterday, I had a very useful and fruitful discussion with President Tayyip Erdogan, and I was very happy to hear his views, and I know for a fact that relations with the UAE have improved a lot. With Saudi Arabia, they have become very positive, and these are very good signals, not only between Turkey, UAE and Saudi Arabia, but for the entire Islamic world and for the global peace and security. I think we should all be, not only be very happy about it, but we should be contributing that these relations are further enhanced in a positive way, because it will become very fruitful and very wonderful for this entire region. And in my own self, I'll play whatever I can, constructive and productive role to further enhance these relations. It's very good for the Ummah.
So, given this latest political alignment in the region, is your country also warming up relations with Israel?
Well, I think that's something which must be understood in its real perspective. We are for rights for those subjugated societies around the globe, whether it's Palestine or Kashmiris or other areas in the world where such movements are struggling for their independent rights. Palestine is a case in point, and look at atrocities and hard and harsh measures against them by Israeli forces day in and day out. And it's not a matter of recent history. For the last 60 years, this is happening, and thousands of Palestinians have been killed, their mothers, their children, their houses bombarded, and their business, their livelihood, snatched. This is not acceptable to not only to Pakistan, but to entire peace-loving societies. Therefore, unless and until the issue of Palestine is resolved, as much as Kashmir issue is resolved according to their aspirations and UN resolution, I don't think peace will return in these parts of the world. Therefore, this is our principal stand, and it's not a question of Israel or India. It's a question of providing moral support, diplomatic support to these societies, to these people, till they have won their rights, and that's our stand.
So Pakistan is going through some economic hardships nowadays. You've said your main priority would be to revive the economy. How are negotiations with the IMF going now?
Well, we are engaged with IMF, and we are doing whatever we can to have IMF on board again. Unfortunately, in the last 3.5 years, and we have wasted our time. I'm not here to enter into any kind of political blame game. Suffice it to say that we are trying our best to put our economy in the right direction. Difficult as it is, it's a huge and humongous challenge, but I will not accept defeat. This is not in me. I was not born on the date.
So
we
is
will
the
work
IMF
hard, we'll work untiringly, and we'll put things right.
So what's your view? I mean, is the IMF likely to increase the size and duration of its bailout program? And you say you're going to fight, but what different measures you're talking about that is different than the previous government in terms of economy?
Good question. While we have to, in a compelling fashion, we are really compelled to increase the cost of oil and gas in Pakistan, because these are skyrocketing all over the world. Both developing and developed societies are facing this crunch. This is a known fact. So we have to do it. On the other hand, we are offering, subsidies to those large swaths of population who are below poverty line, who are unable to meet their two ends together, who go without food. A meal a day is very difficult, education, health, and therefore we have to look after these segments of society.
But the IMF wants you to cut those subsidies.
Yeah, but we can't.
So what's the end game here?
How can you even imagine to walk in the streets of Pakistan without being caring and showing empathy and sympathy for those millions of people, teeming millions, who are under great pressure and are finding it very difficult even to keep their own soul together? That is not politics. That is not government. That is not management. That is nothing. You have to be first human and provide them human touch and show humane treatment before you talk to other entities. If IMF thinks that we should not look after, I don't think this is their question, but my answer is, if this is the question, we will look after them under all circumstances.
Okay. Speaking of millions of people who are under pressure, could you talk to us about the political situation in Pakistan right now? How is this transition period playing out?
Well, I think for the first time in Pakistan's history, a vote of no confidence has succeeded, and this has been constitutional and legal transition, which is provided for in the Constitution of Pakistan. So I think it's a big step forward. It's a quantum jump, and I think from this point onwards, I think it will be an acceptable norm in Pakistan that this is also a way forward which must be supported. If the majority of parliamentarians feel that we don't wish to have A government and want to have B government, they should be allowed the right to vote freely under the law of the land and have a change of their own desire. This is exactly what has happened. Previously, there were different situations, martial law, military intervention.
So you think this as a democratic move?
Absolutely. This has transformed the entire ball game, and I think it's leading towards more democratic norms, which must be supported in times to come.
So will elections be held on time?
I think about 15 months from now. Yes, that's right.
So what's your vision in helping address Pakistan's political division? What's your roadmap?
Our roadmap is we have accepted these tough condition challenges we have just explained, to handle them, and then find a breathing space, raise resources indigenously, of course with the support of our brotherly and friendly countries, and rebuild Pakistan and prioritize our arrangements. Like, we must try our best to decrease poverty. You cannot finish it in short term, but that's our ultimate aim and goal, to finish poverty from the face of Pakistan. It will take time. In short term, to decrease poverty, decrease inflation, and cut fat in the government sector, public sector, and show personal example of simplicity. Easier said than done, but it will be done, and it must be done. And then seek support from the people, from those starters of society who have been blessed with the Almighty's bounties and infinite resources. We will appeal to them, please come forward and sacrifice, show empathy to poor people and contribute. Today, it's not that what I should get from the government. Today, the question should be what I can give to the government and to the nation.
You have only 15 months left for the elections. Will you be able to eradicate this poverty?
Therefore, we will go for short-term measures, maybe short to medium measures. And once if we are returned by the people of Pakistan, by the grace of God, then we will, with full cry and with full force, launch our agenda of prosperity and progress, bringing peace in the region, talking to our neighbor, especially neighbor in the east. Please give up hostilities. Please come to talking table. Please be kind to your people, and let's work together, being independent countries, to alleviate poverty, unemployment, disease, providing potable water, medicine. That's important.
Yeah, speaking of economic hardships and poverties, what's your government's approach to Russia's attack on Ukraine? Has it changed from the previous government? Where does Pakistan stand amid the Ukrainian crisis?
Our stand is very principled, unwavering, that we stand for the independent rights of societies wherever they are around the globe. Like we speak for independence of Kashmir, we hope hostilities will come to an end, in Ukraine, and both Russia and Ukraine will come to, to talk on the table. And I really greatly admire the efforts of President Tayyip Erdogan. He is playing a very constructive role to bring the two warring states to talking table. And if he succeeds in his sincere and serious efforts, he'll be remembered for all time to come.
Yes.
It's a great contribution on his part.
All right. Mr. Prime Minister, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Strait Talk.
Thank you, Madam Aisha. It's really a pleasure meeting you and talking to you today.
Same. Thank you.